Hello, if you're joining me for the replay. Hi, welcome. Jindy, Carissa, Amanda, y'all got here real quick. It's my crew. It's my prayers. How are you all tonight? I have some exciting news. You may notice a chair. A chair that is not the kitchen chair from the 1980s. That is what I have been sitting on. Which, I gotta say, the shit they made in the 1980s, a lot sturdier than the shit we have now, okay? But it was, like, my ass probably would have fit on that chair in the 1980s in terms of comfort. So I used my Amazon Christmas money to get myself a decent chair, and it is decent, and it's on wheels, so now I don't have to be like lifting and jumping to like it's pretty, right? It's like, it's one of my favorite colors, so I like it. It's nice. The arms go up so that you can actually like put it like under your desk. You know how when like a lot of times when it has arms it just like won't go under your desk. I like that feature. And it's wide enough. It's wide enough for my generous birthing hips, so we like it. We feel like we can sit for a lot longer now and be a lot more comfortable, which is great. So welcome everybody. Good to see you all here today. I'm definitely starting on when I come back from my trip, the 31st, the 1st. So if you try to book any readings, my books are closed on from now until the 2nd. So if you do want, if you need a private reading, my books will be open again on the 2nd. You can book now, but there won't be appointments. There won't be any appointments available until I get back from my trip, which I should be back tomorrow night, but I just didn't want to have to worry about any readings this weekend. I just wanted to enjoy the rest of 2022 with my family and kind of chillax a little bit. But if you do need one, you can book it at the link in my profile now. And when you go to book, you're going to notice it's changed a lot. There used to be a bunch of different readings offered, and now what you're going to see at the very top is a free consultation, which is useful if you are wanting to work with me one-on-one on a weekly basis, and you want to talk about the price point for that, what kind of work you want to do, etc. So that's what the free consultation is for. You're going to see my music production offerings and music lessons, which I offer. And then all the way at the very bottom is a tarot reading option. And it says 30 to 60 minutes because it's a 30-minute minimum, and will not go over 60 minutes. And it is now only pre-recorded. So the only way that you could really see me on a reading is if you choose to work one-on-one with me, and have weekly sessions. And there is a package for that that discounts that hourly rate. So it's called the Spiritual Initiate Package. It's designed specifically for people who want to work with me on a weekly basis. But if you're not going to work with me on a weekly basis, you just want a reading, it's now only pre-recorded. And it starts at $111. That's my rate for private readings. So I will continue to do $33 readings here online, live only on either TikTok or YouTube. Mostly TikTok. I haven't really used YouTube to do personal readings much, but I suppose just in case anything happens to TikTok, I should offer YouTube as a backup. But so if you now want a $33 reading, it's only offered live. And I am also going to be shifting my focus. Come January 1st, the focus for my account is really going to be on your emotional well-being and your creativity. The weekly, if you want to work with me one-on-one for a month, which is 4 sessions, it's $360. So I think that's like a $75 discount overall on the whole, right? Because it would be, I can't do maths very well in my head. What would it be? It would be $444 if you paid 4-hour sessions like individually. So it's a pretty big discount. $360, it's almost $100 off. So Terry, if you'd like a reading, it's $33. There's a link in my profile, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. Alternatively, you can subscribe to my channel and I will pull 2 cards for you on any questions. So, and then anytime I see you live, I will read 2 cards for you. I am going to do a little collective reading also. For those of you that aren't going to pay for readings today, I'm still going to be doing collective reading. I'm so glad you love the new initiative focus. I am just realizing that I've been reading for the Twin Flame Collective for 3 years. I think that I have found my people, and I think almost all of those people are ready to focus on their passion and what they're going to do and who they're going to be, and stop focusing on their person. And it doesn't mean that you won't be with your person or that you're not going to come into union or anything like that. It's just that key component that you see on all the readings, which is like, you have to love yourself and you have to, you know, be doing your higher calling. Like, I just did a reading and it was like, go towards your higher calling. If you don't know what your higher calling is, and you don't know what direction you're going in, and you don't know how to go about doing that, in what way would your person that you're focused on be able to do the same thing in regards to you, right? Because if you're looking at your person as a mirror, then they are showing you where you are missing the boat in terms of your own personal pursuits. So for instance, my hope, right, has been that my person would choose to bring me into his life and have me be somebody that he prioritizes and honors and respects and enjoys and has fun with and is passionate with and everything. So that's my expectation, right? I want my person to do that. And I'm constantly like, why isn't he doing that? And then I have to ask myself, okay, what is the equivalent inside of me to my feminine energy? What is that equivalent? And for me, that is music, following my passions in regards to my creativity, which I have completely ignored for the last year because I have been focusing on growing my TikTok channel so that I could try to get money. Not that I'm trying to get money from everybody, but I'm trying to get a stable finances through my tarot readings, because I've been telling myself if I have stable finances, then I can have time for my creative outlet. But what I have realized is that I focus all of my energy on trying to stabilize my finances. Granted, the way that I do that is really fulfilling, like to read for other people, to help them understand the twin flame dynamic through masculine and feminine energy. Like, I'm so grateful and appreciative that that's how I get to stabilize my finances. But I noticed that within the last 6 months, that stability has been pulled away, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was because my creativity is suffering. Last year, when I was doing well with my account, I was paying with the money I was receiving from the universe for sessions. I had already produced my record, and I needed to record vocals, and I needed to get live drums recorded. And so I was working with my friend and the studio owner at Moose Cat Studios, Mike Post, who was helping me to complete the recording for my record so that I could finish my EP, which is coming out soon. And so last year I was doing well, my finances were doing well because I was honoring music, and I was having fun, I was being passionate about it, I was feeling good about what I was doing. And then I started to feel like I didn't have enough money to do it, and I got focused on the material, and I took my focus off of what was actually emotionally fulfilling. So the same time last year when I was doing music, there were 3 missed opportunities where I could have gone to the place where my person was and actually had a face-to-face meeting with them. And I was too afraid to, because I was worried that I was going to be rejected by that person. So I had these opportunities for actually crossing paths and actively was like, no, at this point I can't trust that, like, I'm not going to be rejected, because he's not given me any direct communication. He's not actually invited me to do these things. It's just been these vague allusions to these events. So I missed out on these opportunities. Now, what's really interesting is 2 of the times that I could have gone and did not go, I was working in the studio. I was focused on creating my music, and I felt so satisfied and so filled up by doing that, that going to see him wasn't a priority. And I was like, am I going to regret not seeing him? And I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm making this music. It's so great. I don't care. And like, I can see now as I'm talking about it and reflecting back on it, nothing ended up happening between us. And the wind got knocked out of my sails. And as I started to focus on that relationship and it not happening, I started to take my focus off of music. I started to stop prioritizing that part of myself. I pulled back from it, and I started to do things that were fear-based. Like I was like, well, I don't think this is ever going to work out. I'm never going to be in a relationship with this person. I'm not going to have enough money to finish my record anyway. Nobody cared when I released the song that I worked so hard to release. They're probably not going to care about the rest of my music. So I was feeling rejected and abandoned. And I went into those fear-based feelings, and I was like, I'm just going to get a car, pack up as much shit as I can pack into it, and I'm going to go back to the East Coast so that I can at least live with my son, which is a priority that I do have. Like, I do want to live in the same house as my son. Then I made my way back across the country, completely fear-based behavior. Like, it definitely wasn't something that I was doing from this place of balance, and it wasn't like a peaceful decision, or like, it was just like, I don't know if I'm going to, I had this weird situation where to receive rental assistance for COVID, they told me not to pay rent for 6 months. And then I wasn't getting the money for the apartment that I was supposed to get because everything was super delayed. So I was getting eviction notices like every week, even though they really couldn't do anything to evict me. I was living in this state of fear of like, well, what happens if I don't get this rental assistance, and then I have 6 months of rent and I can't pay it, and then I'm not going to be like, it was like so fear-based. So I come all the way back here. I come home. Now I can see why I had to come home, because I really needed to heal inner child wounds. I had a thing happen like right after Christmas, just this interaction with my mother that was really unpleasant. And I came upstairs and I felt rejected. And I realized how often I had felt rejected since childhood in so many situations. And in the past, I've always focused on my abandonment wounds because I had a lot of death in my family from a young age. Like, I lost, my grandfather, my uncle, my aunt, like my cousin, like before I was 14, like all these people that were really close to our family, like very actively involved in my life, just poof, they were gone. So abandonment wounds made sense to me, and I worked a lot on them. I was like, oh, I have to process this grief from losing these people, and I have to understand how that makes it difficult for me to get close to people. And I did all this work, and I was like, why am I not seeing any improvement in relationships? Why am I still having a hard time coming into union with anyone, much less my twin? And then I had that happen with my mom the other night. I came up into my room, and now I'm much better at feeling my feelings instead of pushing them away. Or if I do numb them, like with eating food or something like that, I'm aware when it's happening. I'm like, okay, I can tell that I need nurturing. I can tell that I feel like I'm craving sweets, and I feel like I need to be held and comforted, and that's what I need right now. And so I was experiencing those feelings, and then I was crying and realizing how rejected I felt in my life. And then I was like, oh my God, when you're rejected as an infant or just a small child, if you are rejected by your primary caregiver, you are faced with the potential of dying right? Because if your caregiver rejects you, that means they're not going to provide food for you. They're not going to provide emotional comfort or support. They're not going to provide shelter. Now, that's not what happened. My mother didn't like reject me to the point where I wasn't receiving my basic needs. But the inner child does not have the ability to distinguish between I'm getting my basic needs met and my emotional needs aren't being met, and those are two different things. It just seems like you are not going to survive. One of the biggest issues I've had in my life has been providing for myself. I will constantly say I am barely surviving. Like I can barely meet my needs. And so all of these things came together in that one moment, and I kind of didn't process it until I was talking to my friend today. We have like a scheduled call every Thursday, and I was telling her about this event, and I was like, oh my God, my rejection wounds have caused me to fear that I can't survive, because in my mind, if I'm rejected, then my means of survival are unattainable, right? So I am now acknowledging how much of that rejection wound I carry, and why my person is reflecting that back with their inability to come forward to me. Even though, like, I'm pretty sure we both know I'm not going to reject them. It's just such a powerful fear. It's such a powerful wound. And they have the same kind of issues, I know, with their mother. So I'm blown away by all of this. Anyway, this whole story is just to show that when you're experiencing some kind of a situation with your person, and it seems like it's an external thing, that it's somehow not related to anything you're doing, there's always a much deeper energetic thing that's happening. And as soon as you can work on that, the magic of healing that wound, this rejection wound, is that it won't matter if people don't accept you for who you are, if people don't want to get on your boat with you. It won't matter to you, because you ultimately have stopped rejecting yourself. And once you stop rejecting yourself, you're going to start to attract people around you who are on that level with you and are not going to make you feel rejected, are not going to make you feel abandoned. The healing of the wounds within you changes the whole dynamic of the people that are outside of you. And I know that it's much more important for us right now to figure out what's going on within us than it is to know what that person outside of us is doing. And I'm terrified, like I'm definitely facing my fear that as I transition into these readings and this style of reading, that people are going to not want to hear it, that they're going to reject my messages, that they're going to reject who I am or what I'm making or creating, because it's not what I think they want, right? Because I have been people pleasing even as a tarot reader, which is hard for me to admit and accept, because I have avoided doing a lot of things I see other readers doing. And I thought by avoiding doing those things, which I would say, you know, just kind of like, I can tell when somebody's going to get a lot of likes, a lot of follows, a lot of comments by the message content. And I've always avoided being inauthentic in the cards that I'm reading. Like I read them as I see them, even if it's not like the happiest, greatest message. Thank you for the rose, Brooke. But I realized that I still do, like, what is your person saying to their friends? What is your person going to do right now? What is your person thinking right now? Those readings I have still been doing, because those are the readings that get the most interactions, that get the most follows, the most likes. And I am an accurate reader, so people are like, wow, this is so accurate. So I get validated, right? When I do readings for the feminine energy, there's just not as much interaction there. And I've talked about that at length. I mean, the reason why we reject feminine energy is because it's perfectly fine to do that in a patriarchal society. So even we who identify in feminine energy are susceptible to not valuing it as much as we value the masculine perspective. And even though I know that, it's still like, I'll still be like, well, nobody will want to book readings with me, or I won't be able to like grow my account. And like, it's just like all the stuff that my ego is like, no, we should stay comfortable and keep doing messages the people want to hear. And it's like, no, that's not your job though. You are supposed to do messages that the people need to hear. And so my explanation for the inertia I've been experiencing, like I keep saying, when I'm complaining or when I'm upset and I complain to my friends, I'm always like, I don't know how I can help people because none of the blockages that I have shifted in the last few years. I still have this problem, and I still have this problem, and I still have this problem. So I hear myself saying that, like I still have this and I still have that. And it's like, okay, well then what does that tell you? Like you're still doing the same things. It might look different. Like maybe you put on a different outfit to go along the same path you've always walked on. But you're still walking on that path. You're just wearing newer shoes. Like you got new shoes? Okay, well you're still walking on the same path. Like you need to walk on a completely different path. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I'm just going to allow myself to be guided into it. But I completely understand if you're at a point in your journey where you still need to hear messages about the masculine energy and about like, you know, the dynamic between you and your person. And there are thankfully a lot of incredible readers out there who are going to be still doing those messages. But for me on this page and on my YouTube going forward, the messages are really going to be focused on your creativity and your passions. And I'm going to share my creativity and my passions. I started to try to do that a few months ago, but I was still doing it. I was singing at the beginning of my Tell Me Everything readings. So I was being like, oh, I'll like combine these two things. But I can tell that it's not working to do that. I have to just play music. I actually played a song. My piano is actually on right now, and I played a song today for the first time in I don't know how long it's been since I've actually played the piano, maybe like a few months. I've sang a couple of times, I've rehearsed some of my music, but I haven't actually played. I got one song out, that was all I could do, but I'm going to go into it, and I have a feeling that as I shift that I will start to see those blockages move. So thank you for being here for my long introduction today. I hope that you're on board with me. I know some of you already expressed that you are, and I appreciate you so much. And it doesn't mean that when you ask me for a reading live, you can ask me any topic. If you want to ask me about your person or about your journey, I will absolutely read about that. And if you book a private reading with me, I have no problem helping you understand that. Though that's still an important part of understanding yourself, so I have no problem with that. But just when I do collective readings from now on, and when I do the collective readings for even on my lives, it's going to be focused on creativity and passions. And that's going to be starting, like I'm going to start fresh, like right on the new year. So this will be probably tonight, and maybe Saturday will be the last time that we kind of look at the twin flame dynamic, masculine and feminine. And then after that, when we look at it, it's going to be more through your own lens. So when we look at masculine energy, we're going to be looking at how are you taking action towards your creativity and passion. And when we look at feminine energy, it's going to be like, how are you honoring your emotions, creativity, and passion, if that makes sense. So enjoy today's reading, and Saturdays will be the last Tell Me Everything that I will be doing on a live. After that, I will be doing different content for members only, and my other content will be also different. So buckle up. It's going to be an interesting ride, as it always is. And let's look at the theme for today, between the masculine and feminine energy. For what is almost the last time for me. We're going to go ahead and get as much as we can out of this before transitioning into really honoring the feminine energy. Ooh, I got a new card that I haven't gotten before. Yay, I like that. TikTok. That's pretty appropriate. It's number 30. and it came out in reverse. Hi, Lindsay. Oh, no worries, no worries. Also, I wanted to let you know, I'm glad you came on tonight. So while you were sick, which I'm sorry to hear, my website has changed, and now the only possible reading is $111, but you already spoke to me before. So when we communicate about what readings you wanted to purchase, like, I'll honor the other prices that used to be there for you, because it was before I made that transition that changed. So don't freak out that there's only a $111 option right now. I will honor whatever you wanted to purchase for your sisters. Okay, so TikTok in reverse. Hi, Tanya. How are you? You're welcome, Lindsay. Okay, this is number 30. And I'm glad you're feeling better also. You must have needed a rest. All right. So the general essential meanings of this card are timelessness, divine timing, and immeasurable time. So the theme that we're going to be looking at tonight between the masculine and feminine energy will be about timing. And the protection message is, have you been feeling as if the clock is ticking and gotten a little nervous that your dreams are taking too long to manifest? Can you fucking believe this shit? Like, I can't believe this shit sometimes. There is nothing to fear. You will never run out of time for the important things. The miracles that are yours and yours alone can't be missed. Isn't that amazing? You're in such capable hands with guides and angels hovering in the invisible spaces, ensuring that your journey will be filled with all sorts of goodies. Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by your faith. Spirit will never deny you your highest good. All is yours in divine, appropriate timing. You can relax. That is quite a message. Also, confirmation for me that everything I just said before I got to this part of the reading is exactly what is meant to happen in divine timing. Okay, let me see. What decks do I want to use? Okay. I'm going to put this one deck away. Hang on a second. I'm bringing out my Modern Love Tarot deck. I'm going to use Modern Love Tarot and then the Light Seers, because I love those two together. All right, Lover's Path is going away for now. Let me get Light Seers. My poor Light Seers Tarot. My dog ate the bottom of the box. None of the cards. It was when she was a puppy and I left her out for a night. And I came back and she had destroyed my entire apartment. Like, it was crazy. I sent video of it to my friend and she was like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, it's a husky thing. And she, to this day, when I leave her, she loves my family now. She's really bonded with my parents and my brother, and she really does well now when I go out. Like, when I go on my trip tomorrow, she does really pretty well without me here. But she always sneaks into my room and destroys something every single time. And the last time I was gone, she actually grabbed I have an ornament that I have for the Divine Feminine on my altar. It had 3 mushrooms on it. She ate one of the mushrooms. I was like, I see you. It's just your reminder to me. You better not leave me alone again, Mom. I'm going to destroy your room while you're gone. All right, so what do we have to hear from the masculine and feminine energy right now about divine timing, about just being able to relax, just having faith and trusting in the outcome? How is the masculine feeling about this energy? And we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to be kind of sad not to do these readings this way anymore. It is, you know, there's a reason that I've done them. I'm also kind of attached to them and they bring me comfort, and I feel like it's my way of like hearing from my person too. So I'm I'm also a little bit like, I won't be doing it this way anymore. But I can tell by the way that things are going in my life right now that it's the right thing to do. And I encourage you all, if you're hitting a wall with something, just like totally changing up your energy will usually help you break right through. And while you think you're like all the rest doing them, you never have been. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Maybe I'll still do like once a week or something. Because I do think, like I said in the reading I did today, the reading I posted earlier today, I said in that reading, like, I'm always conflicted because I got on this journey because of the messages that I was getting about like twin flame stuff. And like, it was like my gateway drug into finally taking care of myself. So I do think that they're important, but I can tell that they've become a crutch for me. They're easy to do. I'm really comfortable with it. I can just tell it's like my tower moment. Like, I've become uncomfortable enough financially that the universe is like, you gotta let this go. You gotta do something very different. Yeah, like a tell me everything cheat day. I like that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Like once a month, I will do a tell me everything, and then that day, on the live, you can get a tell me everything reading or something like that. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, I'm going to do what I did yesterday because I liked it. I'm going to look at the overall energy after we go through the whole reading. So just to hone us back in on this message, we're looking here at divine timing and the connection and the energy about this timing and everything for both masculine and feminine. So masculine energy, we'll start with masculine energy right now. How has this masculine energy been feeling about this divine timing energy? What has he been dealing with in regards to it? We're getting the Four of Pentacles from the Modern Love Tarot. I love the energy of this card, especially because we can associate the Four of Pentacles with building a financial foundation and external opinions or ideas, holding on to something. And I really was just talking about how I was holding on to something I was really comfortable with. It was easy for me. I was getting approval from people for doing it right, for like doing my readings the way that I was doing it. I know the new way is better for me, but damn, it's hard to switch to kale salads from pizza. Right? That's such a great analogy. But you know what happens? After you eat in a really supportive way it's usually not even that long, like 3 days, right? For 3 days, if you eliminate sugar and processed foods for 3 days, on the 4th day, you crave fruit and vegetables. You lose the that horrible craving that you have for the 3 days that you're getting over the addiction that your body has to the endorphin rush from sugar. It really does go away. Your taste buds change. In 30 days, if you do like a whole 30, within 30 days, you're actually so comfortable in the whole 30 that you usually don't want to transition back. Depending on how good your whole 30 has been. Sometimes that's not the case. But when you have a good one where it feels like you get into the flow with it, within 30 days, you're like, wait, why was I ever doing anything else? And it kind of takes a while to go back to the old habits. So maybe the same thing will be true of giving us a break on the love readings. Hi, Luna. You missed my whole intro speech, but you know the deal. I'm moving away from the masculine and feminine readings, and we're going to focus entirely on feminine emotional creative energy. But this today and Saturday, those are going to be my last 2 days that we will still continue to look at masculine and feminine energy. So that's what we're doing tonight. Okay, so masculine, how's he been feeling about divine timing? There's a sense that during the time he's kind of just been focused on building financial stability. Like when 5:55 on the clock right now, when things have not been aligning for him, when the pieces haven't been falling into place, and when he's been feeling like he's like waiting for something to happen, he goes immediately to focusing on the material, feeling like he has a foundation, building up his money, building up his coin. I think he's also kind of had a disapproving energy of himself. I'm just seeing this interaction between these two. This feminine energy that is on her phone, she kind of feels good. The way that I always think about this is that I make my money on my phone, and I always picture my mom's judgment about how I don't have a real job. So I always have this, that's what I always think about when I see this dynamic. I'm also getting a sense too that there is, maybe he's kind of watched the feminine energy feeling good. Like if he's seeing her on social media, it like seems like she's doing fine with this timing, and maybe that seems there might be some envy from him, being like, well, I wish I could feel fine because I don't feel fine. But one of the reasons the masculine energy doesn't feel fine is because he hasn't been actually processing emotions during that time. He's been focused on the material. The divine feminine has used the time to focus on her emotions. So it's just been a different focus, and so it's looking differently as we see the external picture of it. In the present moment, in the current energy, we're getting the 9 of Cups, which is the card of wish fulfillment, abundance, prosperity, having everything you could possibly ever have wished for, dreamed of. And the feminine is like, again, she's like got it all. She's just having a great time, but he's feeling like she is withholding, which is so interesting, because normally what we're experiencing is that the masculine energy is withholding communication, the expression of feelings. But right now, I am feeling that this masculine energy, the way that he's been handling this time that has been passing, the clock that's ticking, he's looking at the situation and he's being like, I feel like she should be a lot more upset than she seems. Like, I don't even know if she's really needs me. It seems like she's got it all and she's having this fine time. Meanwhile, all I can do is just try to make more money because that's the only way that I feel good about myself. And I don't know if she's even wishing for me anymore, because she seems kind of fine without me. I'm feeling this energy coming from him. There's definitely envy going on, which is kind of funny, isn't it? Right? Because I know I'm envious that my person has enough money to go and do what he wants to do and have fun time and, you know, wear Gucci shoes. Like, I'm like, bitch, I wish I was a piece of shit, asshole, mean person and still got all this financial wealth and like all these bitches around me. Like, I wish I was a dick to people and that's how my life was. Instead, I'm so kind and nice and compassionate and I can't fucking pay for my car. Like, I am like, it's so funny to like see that when the person from the other side, it's like all I have is my wealth and reputation, and I don't have any of the love and the, you know, the joy that I've really been wishing for. Instead, because I've withheld, I'm now getting that reflected back to me and I don't like it, right? The outcome for him is the Magician. And again, this deck has masculine and feminine all over it. There's 78 cards in this deck. And I would say half of them have masculine energy and half of them have feminine. And all three of the cards that we have, there's not a single masculine depicted. So right now, this masculine only has eyes for this feminine energy. I'm seeing that he feels like this feminine has all the power right now. She has all the power because what he's decided is that I may have this material wealth, I may have this reputation, but at the end of the day, I don't have the divine feminine. I don't have the love and the affection that I need to feel whole. And I want it. I want to make it happen. I want to have power over this timeline. I want to make something happen, shift something, and I want to do it together. I want to co-create. So that's where he is. Divine Feminine, where are you? How have you been dealing with this TikTok? the divine timing here, this feeling of it's never going to happen. Well, you might have been a little bit immature. We've got the Page of Wands. This is an energy of holding back your joy and excitement, not wanting to anticipate, not wanting to get too excited because it's just, is it ever going to work out? Feels like it's never going to work out. So the way that you've been dealing with this is holding back your belief that you're going to have a reason to be joyful, a reason to get excited, a reason, like, you kind of feel like there's nothing left to explore. It's a feeling of your passion is kind of like, the spark is kind of dead. Like your masculine is like, work, give a shit about what other people think, and you're like, that's a big fucking turnoff, and I just don't even feel the spark anymore. It's been so long now, I can't tap into it. That's where you've been. In your current energy, the Seven of Pentacles, your ass is waiting for the masculine to do fucking something, and you're like, okay, he planted the seeds, he's growing the tree. Do we have to wait for this tree to reach adulthood? Because that could literally take, 20 years. Like, I don't know, what am I waiting for? But at the same time, what you have done is you're tending to your coin. You're tending to your own masculine energy. You're finding ways of growing abundance and wealth yourself. You have actually been fairly patient, which is pretty good. You're definitely like in an energy of like, okay, well, if he's not coming, then I'm going to provide for myself everything that I thought that the masculine was going to provide for me. And it's not that I needed him to provide it, it's that I just thought he was going to. And I'm like, oh, guess that's not happening. I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm just going to tend to my material environment. I'm going to nurture and take care of whatever I'm growing. I'm going to find a way to take action towards my wishes and my dreams. And look at the contrast of this energy. The masculine's current energy is, the feminine is withholding love from me. She's withholding everything I'm wishing for from me. And she's taking care of herself. And the masculine has to do this to get this, right? It's like these things have to be swapped around. What do I love about Divine Feminine's reading? From the Seven of Pentacles, she progresses to the Eight of Pentacles. So what is she doing with her time? She is making some really fucking cool shit. She's doing exactly what I just said at the beginning of this reading. She is like, oh, I'm going to tend to my masculine energy, and I'm going to bring all the focus that I had on the masculine and taking care of the masculine to creating something really fucking badass and actually bringing it into the world. And it's a progression from the Seven of Pentacles into the Eight of Pentacles. So that's a really positive energy. And what's really interesting is the masculine is acutely aware that this feminine is making shit happen without him. That's what's got him so glum, chum. He's looking at the Divine Feminine and being like, this bitch didn't need me at all. I think about the situation with my person who is a musician. He's a recording artist and a producer and stuff, which is what I am also, although I just don't have the same amount of, popularity, I guess, as he does. But as an artist, but actually I noticed his TikTok account the other day and I was like, oh, I guess in terms of TikTok, this Xennial knows what the fuck she's doing, and your fucking Gen X ass has no idea how to make your TikTok grow. I was like really loving that. My ego was like, my Leo self, my ego was like, well, I guess I'm doing something right. Okay, that's my one triumph. Give it to me. It's fine. My ego can have that. But I was thinking about that. how I'm pretty sure there must have been a moment when my person thought that his career and his reputation and what he could offer me was so tantalizing that I would always just be waiting for it. And the reason why I'm pretty sure he thought that is because I thought that too. For a long time, I was like, I'm not going to have success in the music industry until I have somebody who can help me with that success. And somebody who has connections and somebody who can put me in front of the right people. Not that I don't have the talent, but I have to have those connections. And that is 100% how Hollywood works. I lived there for 10 years. All of the opportunities I got came from me crossing paths with the right people at the right time who believed in me. So 100%, that's not an inaccurate assessment of how things happen in Hollywood. And for a long time, I was like, I guess that must be why I'm drawn to this person, because it's supposed to help me in my career. But what happened for me is that I realized that I didn't have to be an uber famous, Grammy award winning rock star in order to be fulfilled or happy. Like, I'm on my phone doing TikTok lives with 16 people in the room, and I'm a pig in shit at this point. Like, I get to teach, I get to talk about spirituality, I get to talk about all of the topics I love, all of those kind of things, and I'm doing something I never even realized was going to be so fulfilling and so satisfying. And I went and lived in Hollywood for 10 years around people that were doing what I thought I wanted to do, and I saw how fucking incredibly unhappy they were. How it didn't fulfill them, how having a lot of wealth didn't make them happy. I was the person who had nothing. There were times when I was homeless, sitting with somebody at a party who had so much money, and they could spend so much money on all of the things. They could have solved my financial problems in 1 second. They could have just been like, here you go, and it literally would have been like spending $10 to them. And I would sit there and I would comfort them. I would be like, well, here's the thing. And I would have spiritual advice, and I would have channeled messages, which I didn't even realize I was doing at the time. And I would see them devastated and crushed and feeling empty inside. And after I comforted them, I would go to my car and sleep in it. And somehow I was capable of helping them see the light and bringing joy to them. And they would say, you changed me, you helped me. So after 10 years of that, I stepped back from it and was like, I guess having all the money, all the fame, all the glory in the world truly doesn't bring you any happiness, truly doesn't give you fulfillment. At the end of the day, those people needed me to lift their spirits. Like, I definitely was uplifted by them. I was given free meals. I was able to stay over at their home. They were generous with me. It's not like they didn't return their generosity that I was giving them, but it was this moment of like, wow, like I can help them feel better when I'm in my situation and they're in their situation. So I'm pretty sure that there was this moment for my person where he was like, the one thing that he has is this: money and reputation. In this situation, that's the one thing he has. And it was the one thing that I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need money and reputation, because I was able to bring myself this sense of abundance and fulfillment and prosperity and wholeness from my spiritual connection, from the relationships I have with people, from the connections I make with people, from simply enjoying things that I guess I probably wouldn't even notice if I had a lot more money and could distract myself. But when you don't, and the only thing you can do is drive to the beach and sit there and watch the sunset, then you're gonna fucking enjoy the sunset a lot more than going to the mall and spending a bunch of money. So it's really interesting that the Divine Feminine, through her willingness to do the emotional processing, to do the work, she's actually better off in this situation than this masculine who has all of that security that the feminine is now going to be able to have as well, because she's balanced and able to nurture the masculine energy within herself. She's done that work, and that's because it's permissible for people who identify strongly in their feminine energy to embrace and work on their masculine energy. It's a lot more difficult for the masculine energy to do the opposite because of how feminine energy is devalued. So in some ways the feminine has a slight advantage in balancing energy, whereas the masculine has to overcome a lot of phobia about it. So that's why it is going the way it is going. How accurate is this reading? Holy shit. Okay. Top of the deck, overall energy for the masculine about divine timing. I love that, but look, it's another feminine energy. Listen, I gotta check and see. Like, there's gotta be, yeah, look, there's masculine here, masculine there. There's masculine. Like, there's definitely masculine there. There's definitely cards with masculine energy in this deck. How crazy that we have so many feminines that this masculine is focused on. So the masculine energies overall is he's surrendering to his emotions. He's surrendering to the divine feminine leading the way, which means not that the feminine identifying gendered individual is taking the lead, but that his emotion and his heart is finally allowed to take the reins. So this is like me saying, okay, I am going to honor my music and let my creativity start to direct me and guide me, instead of using my head and being analytical and trying to have money or material things guide me. I'm going to let my authentic self, the feminine part of myself, finally take the reins and surrender to that energy. And that's going to propel me forward. This is also the card of 2023. 2023 is about the Chariot. So he's kind of ready right now overall to surrender to his emotion, to surrender to the way he feels about the feminine, and let that lead his actions into this new year. Overall energy for the feminine. I can't with that. Okay, so how is she dealing with this divine timing overall? For her is the King of Cups, who has emotional mastery. She's kind of not going deeply into her emotions right now. She's sort of staying on the surface of them. And I think that's because she has to, like, there has to be this flip-flop, right? In the past, she was led by this emotional reactivity. Now she has more balance within herself. She's not as quick to let her emotions dictate how she's going to behave to the masculine. She's much more interested to let her emotions dictate how she's going to behave to the masculine. She's much more interested right now in sort of staying on the surface of her emotions and letting more her intellect be the thing that's guiding her. Not that she doesn't have deep feelings, she does, but she's not letting the deep feelings cause her to be conflicted about the choices and decisions she's making, which I really like. And I think that also overall she's focused, she still has a focus on the deep feelings and love she does have for this masculine energy. She's choosing to see him in a positive light. He might not be able to express his feelings, but she acknowledges that he does have them, and that he's not doing anything in a malignant manner or malicious manner, right? So that's kind of a positive way to look at it. She's like, I don't think this person is just an asshole. Problematic? Sure. Malignant narcissist? No. I think that this person is truly a good person, and I'm going to choose to focus on them as a good person because it honestly just feels better to do that. I really love that. What does the masculine not see coming? the Eight of Wands with another feminine leading the way. This is just crazy. Y'all saw me put my other decks away so I could pull these decks as well. Like that intuition of like, I'm going to use these decks. So he's overall surrendering to his feelings and letting his feelings just sort of take the reins, right? And that means that what he doesn't see coming is that he is about to really have an emotional expression. He's going to lead with his heart when he communicates with the feminine energy. He's not going to communicate in this sterile, like analytical, logical way. He's really just going to let his heart speak for him and pull him along, like guide him to say what he needs to say. So he is being led by his higher self in like the goddess energy, like that is within him. He's totally relying on heart, and he doesn't even see that coming to a certain extent. He's gonna go to communicate. He's gonna think like, oh, I'm gonna be able to, like, I've rehearsed the speech 100 times, right? I've typed this message 100 times, and then when he goes to actually say something, it's just gonna be like blah, like it's just gonna be everything that's in his heart and nothing that has been logically calculated in his mind. And I love that energy. What does divine feminine not see coming? The high priestess in reverse. Very interesting. So I think that what she doesn't see coming is that is how her intuition has been correct, and how a lot of her experience has really been showing her that she still has a lot of self-doubt. Because I do think that when this masculine just word vomits all of his feelings, there's going to be this moment when the divine feminine is going to have to be like, how could I have doubted his feelings? How could I have doubted that this was true? How could I have doubted the connection, the black and white pillars, the twin flame dynamic? How could I have doubted that? It's really going to challenge her self-concept. I also think she's going to have to come down off of her high horse, because the high priestess is kind of up above. And I think that there's going to be this moment where this feminine, who's been very self-righteous about the way she feels and how, and you know, how things have panned out, I really see her just having to come down from that energy and sort of be a little bit more humble in her role in the dynamic. So kind of a little comeuppance, because she had this really powerful reading, and then what was her overall energy? The masculine. She's like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and overall all I can think about is you. Like, so it's like, okay, bitch, come down off your high horse, right? Like, and I think also she might not really know all of the mystery or the secrets that are here, and so she doesn't see coming like that she's going to finally have a lot of these deep insights into why her masculine made the choices that he made. I think that's also coming out. So cool reading. That was a fun reading. On Saturday, the reading that I will be doing that day will be the Tell Me Everything extended reading. And then that will be my last reading for a while, having to do with the masculine feminine dynamic in terms of relationship. After that day, it is all going to be focused on really our creativity and our passions. And I'll be using, I really love this deck, so I'm going to continue to use this deck to pull cards and be like, what's the theme that we need to look at today? So I think that's probably the kind of style reading you'll see from me on TikTok. It's so funny that's what that card is called. I have a new chair, but when you sit in it for hours and hours, it still does, it's like comfortable, but like I still have to like get up and stretch and stuff for sure. So let me know right now. I'm about to start personal readings. For those of you that are wanting to purchase a reading tonight, I'm really grateful if you do. I do have to travel tomorrow with my son. It costs us about $75 to $100 to get to and from Massachusetts So anything that you can spare tonight, I will be very grateful. I will be pulling for people who are already subscribers. I will, of course, pull, I'm going to pull a tarot card and an oracle for you tonight, because I usually do 2 cards for my followers, or my subscribers, I mean. So if you aren't subscribing and you want to get 2 cards, just go ahead and make sure you're following and then subscribe, and I will pull 2 cards for you. And if you want a deeper reading tonight, it's $33. There's a link in my profile, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. And I do the readings in order that I receive the payments. So usually I get a pop-up that tells me you've paid. If for some reason you pay and you don't hear me saying like, oh, I saw your payment, just let me know, because every once in a while the apps will be like a little bit slow in telling me that somebody has paid. Thank you for sharing the live, everybody who's been doing that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Tanya. And the likes. I have a lot of likes. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to start personal readings for subscribers. And again, if somebody wants a deeper reading, just send a payment and I'll do it. And if you're not going to invest in a reading, you can still usually get a lot of insight from other people's readings, because nice collective messages come through during those times too. So feel free to stick around if you want to. And I will answer whoever has a question. Just put your question. To be a subscriber, you have the PRYR badge, the prayer badge. So just go ahead and put your question, and I will just read them as I see them come in. If anybody has questions tonight. Also, I've been playing in the background a Tree of Life, which is interesting. I didn't realize it was called that. 741 Spiritual and Emotional Detox, Deep Healing Frequency, Positive Energy, and Health. That has been playing. Thank you, Jindy. I just saw your payment. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to answer Christine's question, and then Jindy, if you want to let me know what your question is, I'll do yours since your payment came through. And then Christine, I guess you can come next after that. Or I mean, Carissa. So Christine, how can I get more energy lately? That's been my biggest struggle. All right. All right, so I'm going to pull a tarot and an oracle for you. How can I get more energy lately? Okay, interesting. So the tarot card that came out for you is the Four of Pentacles, and this is such an interesting image. The Four of Pentacles we saw come out in the masculine reading, and the Four of Pentacles is about having a solid foundation. It can be about seeking an outside opinion. So this could be a card that says like, maybe you should talk to someone, a practitioner of some kind. I don't know what type of practitioner you go to. In my experience, when you're having issues with energy, like not feeling like you have a lot of drive or energy, sometimes general practitioners don't have a lot of insight for that. They usually kind of, they'll send you somewhere else. Your first stop, hi Alpha, I'm seeing your donation. Thank you so much. I'll read for you after. So the first step I would do, this is something people overlook a lot, is iron, because a lot of times we're lacking iron, especially if you are a feminine identifying individual. Like sometimes having low iron levels will make your energy low. Another thing that will really make low energy is low vitamin B, which you if you're vegan or vegetarian, you have to supplement. If you do eat meat, iron and vitamin B you can get from meat. You can also get it from vegetables too. It's not just from meat, but it's just easier to get it from meat. So you might just want to check on your physical health, like talk to someone. After that, after you've exhausted like, a blood panel and found out there's nothing wrong, the next step might be a therapist, like, or a spiritual counselor, or a guide who can talk to you about your motivation, your passion, like, things like that. You also might feel a lot of weight or burden about having to build something for yourself. And there might just be a call to be paused and rest, because the 4s are usually about just pausing for a moment. So it could be just that you need the break, and that might just be why your energy levels are low. You are craving a steak. I mean, honestly, a lot of times I feel that it really does help to get iron and vitamin B, and I wouldn't have been inspired to say that probably if it didn't have some kind of a meaning for you, but I'm also not a doctor or anything, so absolutely get a second opinion from a healthcare practitioner. But the other thing I highly recommend is Reiki sessions. Like, there is distance Reiki sessions on YouTube, or you can pay for a Reiki session for someone, which is really, that's going to be the most benefit. But when I'm not financially able to provide for myself like that, I go to distance Reiki sessions and look at energy levels. You can literally look up anything and there's a Reiki session. And I'm like a sucker for ASMR Reiki. The other thing you need to do is be fair to yourself. This says to be fair. And I'm going to look at the book a little bit just to see if there's anything that sticks out to me. But the thing that I got immediately was that you might be putting too much on yourself, and your body might just be like, it's not fair that I'm having to do so much. Or it could be even your mind too, like balance, justice, a need to consider options, mutual benefits, the law of cause and effect. So look at what you're doing. Like, cause and effect is coming up too. Like, a lot of times if you look at your nutrition is one of the biggest areas where we can deplete our energy. I don't know that people realize how much energy it takes to digest foods, but it's a lot. So there are ways to improve your digestion and make it more efficient so that you have more energy. One of the best ways of doing that is eliminating anything that's difficult to digest outright. So it's difficult to digest grains without fermentation. You can ferment your grains. You can add apple cider vinegar and soak them. Most people don't realize that process of fermentation was removed when we started processing our foods. Prior to processed foods, when you would eat grain, it would usually be like a sourdough, or it would be fermented prior to eating it, like oats and things like that, because it helps to break down those substances before they enter your digestive system. Taking digestive enzymes with your food can also help with energy of digestion. Smoothies and juices, they're not just trendy, but they actually are easier to digest. You're literally breaking them down, breaking the cellulose down in the vegetables, breaking down the things that are difficult for you to digest before you ingest them. So just looking at what you're putting in your body, and how you're also dealing with movement, gentle movement versus vigorous movement. So, instead of strength training in a gym, you're doing like some yoga moves. Like, look into the Tibetan rites. I swear by those. Those are 5 poses. You do reps of them. Start with 3 each and work your way up. And breath work also. Breathe. So I don't know. I just turned into a holistic medicine person just then, but honestly, I have a background in all of that stuff. I have had years of issues with my body that I've had to deal with. So all of that advice comes from a lot of research I've done over the years. You finally have a kitchen. Yay. Get in there, have fun. For those of you who haven't purchased your tickets yet, we are going to be doing that event on January 7th. I'm really excited about it. It's including this gentle menu. There are 3 paths you can choose. You can choose one where you virtually cook nothing because you don't like doing that and you just want to have like a relaxing day without cooking. You can choose one that's going to introduce you to some new recipes, or you can choose like a hybrid version of all three and just kind of pick and choose. And it's going to be really good for those of you that are trying to get back into nurturing yourself in ways that are efficient, so they're not really causing you to have to put so much effort and energy into them, but still getting the nutrition you need. Like, let me tell you what, if you have a hard time cooking for yourself every night, which is super normal, but you want to eat foods that are not processed terribly, my solution for this has been the frozen cauliflower rice bags. There's a bunch of different kinds. I love the one with sweet potato. They have like a risotto one that has mushrooms and asparagus, but it doesn't have any additional things. Like, it doesn't have any dairy or anything like that. I think you can get some of them that have sauces and stuff, but I just get the plain ones. There's like one that's like cauliflower and broccoli, and then there's just regular cauliflower rice. Buy a bunch of those, and then you microwave them for like 5.5 minutes. Mix them with some kind of a healthy fat, like coconut oil, or like you can, butter is even fine to use if you are okay with dairy. Little bit of seasoning, and you can literally eat that with anything. You can get a frozen burger or make a burger and eat it with burger. It's the best thing. It helps me stay on track with getting enough vegetables because I don't always want to prepare them. And just find ways of making. The reason why we always go to processed foods is because they're easy. That's it. Most of the time we don't like how it feels. We might like the taste of it, but we usually don't like how it feels. And a lot of times when we really kind of taste it, we don't even really like the taste very much. But try to make eating in a supportive way as easy as possible, because it's perfectly fine to not be able to be Martha Stewart every single day of the week. Although I wish I was. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so let's see. Jindy, if you have your question, you want to put your question up, I'll answer it. I want to do Carissa's also, what's coming next, and then I have Alifer as well, who sent a donation, which I totally appreciate. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead, since I have Carissa's question already, I'm going to go ahead and do hers. And Jindy, if you want to put your question, and then Alifer, if you want to put your question, and then I'll be able to read them after. But let me see what's coming next for Carissa. Ooh, I haven't got that card before. It's cool. Okay, let's see. I'm going to grab the Oracle for this one because it's one I haven't received before. I love this deck so much. This was a gift from Abby. She always spoils me. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so the first card that came up for you is the Six of Cups in reverse. And I have this feeling of... it can be releasing the past, not focusing so much on the past, embracing, I don't know why I'm hearing radical acceptance of the past and how it functioned in your life. But primarily not being held back by it is what you're looking forward to. You're looking forward to, it's 6:33 as I'm saying this, you're looking forward to coming into an energy where you are not being held back by the past, which I think is really cool. And this is the card I haven't received yet. And isn't it cool? It says to the sea. So I don't know, you could be, maybe you're going to go to the ocean, which would be really nice. Can I come with you? I would love to do that. I love that she's in a bathtub. Like, how cute. It's so cute. She has a compass that's pointing her towards true north. There's binoculars on the back, so she can kind of look back. She can look back towards like the past, you know, with some kind of clarity. There's a face here in the clouds that's barely perceptible there. And of course, she's traveling on the sea, which we often associate with emotion. This card says, being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together and a natural pattern of events. I really love that because it's like you know, the past isn't going to have a hold over you anymore, because you're going to be going with the flow. And look at how that the binoculars are literally looking back at this past. You can finally recognize how the pieces are fitting together. Just like I was talking about at the beginning of this reading, how I was saying when I reflect back and I look at the energy of this past year, and I can see that as soon as I pulled back my energy from my creativity because of fear, and because I wasn't getting the validation that I was seeking, and it was still too much of an ego-based pursuit, I lost my way. And it's not like I went in the wrong direction. I didn't. I went right where I needed to go, because I had to come back here. I had to understand my rejection wounds. I had to understand, I said to my sister recently, a few days ago, she sent me some video about this mom, like, gently explaining Santa Claus to this child, and it was so beautiful of an experience, and I did not have that experience when I was a child. And I was like crying as I was watching this loving, nurturing millennial take care of her generation alpha child. And I said, imagine we had millennial parents. And then I realized that I am one. I'm an exennial, so end of Gen X, beginning of millennial is basically where I am. I was born in 81, and my son is 16. And I will always compare when I argue with my mother about how she chose to approach things. I'll be like, that was never my instinct with my child. My instinct with my child was to nurture, respect, give him a sense of dignity, autonomy. Like, I studied early childhood education. I literally went to community college to study early childhood education because I was pregnant. And I was like, I am about to have a child. I have done a lot of nannying and childcare in my life, but I want to know the kinds of activities I should do with my child and what kind of education system I want my child to. I literally went and studied early childhood education so that my child would have a good childhood. Like, we have different priorities. So, but I had to come home and I had to realize that I had to look at how my life would have been different if I had been prepared in different ways. And I think that's the same energy here of really recognizing how all of those pieces fit together. And also this says, isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life, when events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless? So I see like some peace kind of coming in for you. And this, it says, allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river into the sea of life. That is a lovely temperance kind of an energy. I love that for you. Okay. Next up, Jindy, you said you just wanted a general reading, and you did pay for the larger reading, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then we have Alifer, and I don't remember what your handle is, so you'll have to. I'm not sure exactly which handle goes with Alifer. I remember you, but I just don't remember which handle yours is. Okay, let me do Jindy's reading. So this is the deeper reading, the $33 reading. Okay. And then we do 2 oracles for you. We'll do Animal Spirit. If you ever want to buy yourself an oracle deck, which sometimes if you're not a tarot reader yet but you're wanting a deck, I highly recommend Colette Baron Reed's decks. This one, which is the Animal Spirit Oracle, and the one I've been using today, the Wisdom of the Oracle, they're really great places to start. That's okay. It is you, Sophia. Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I forget sometimes the names associated with the accounts. Oh, this is interesting energy for you, Jindy. Okay, so The top of the deck overall energy for you right now is the Ace of Pentacles, which was actually, I think, the first card out in one of the readings from today, but I don't remember which one. I love this image of the divine feminine tending to this new growth that's coming. And it looks like a fern. And I think that's interesting because there is no one has ever discovered a fern seed. I don't even understand that. Like, I read that and I was like, what? There's no seed? So there's a mystery of how the fern proliferates, because it does not have seeds. It clearly does, but no one has ever seen one before, which is just fascinating. So I think it's interesting that they chose that plant specifically for this Ace of Pentacles. Is it a spore? I guess that must be what it is. I just read something about that. I was like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. That makes sense if it's a spore. So there is kind of a mystery here from this new growth. We don't know exactly what it's going to turn into. But something is coming, something abundant, something green, something prosperous. And the Six of Pentacles, of course, Six of Pentacles, sorry, that must be somebody's going to be generous, but the Ace of Pentacles is about definitely something physical in the material. And it's your overall energy, so it can be the seed of a new life or a new beginning, like planting something new, and you're not exactly sure what it's going to turn into. Oh, yes, it doesn't make sense since it's not a mushroom. Very interesting. I like that. Underlying all your thoughts and decisions right now is the Death card. So I do feel that you've recently probably let something die or end. And you have now this spark of this seed of rebirth that's taking place. But underlying is probably still the grief that you experienced from having to let something die or let something end or let something change. It's not always easy or straightforward when we do that. Coming up for you after that, we have the High Priestess and the Chariot, two cards which we saw today. This is also major energy. So we've got the Death card, the Chariot, and the High Priestess. So this is major transformation for you. The Chariot is the card associated with 2023, and the High Priestess, of course, is like trusting and intuition. Both of these cards are the major arcana cards most frequently associated with the twin flame journey because of the black and white pillars in the High Priestess and the black and white horses pulling the Chariot. Now, what's interesting is, having said that, neither one of these cards has that original imagery, which is like you've been in this energy of learning to surrender your ego and trusting your intuition without seeing any proof of what it is that you believe in. This is like a most difficult place to be, where you just have to believe without seeing. And I think you do. I think you do believe without seeing. So probably what has had to die is something in regards to what you thought you were going to see, right? There is that mystery there of not knowing what this is going to look like now, because you kind of had to let something go. It's like when I was talking about my situation with my person, how I just assumed that my music career would have something to do with him and that's why I was drawn to him. But it ended up being something that really divided us, and not at all how I found my authentic voice, I would say, which was really unexpected for me on this journey. The next card that's coming up in this current energy is the Four of Cups. And that's a card about a pause. It's about meditation, about needing to be grounded. It's about missed opportunity. It's about fantasy and about dreams. If something that you thought was going to happen has died, then in your current energy, you may be needing to meditate and fantasize about something new, because we do see that Ace of Pentacles growing, and it's like, gotta know what to grow into. I saw a post about somebody saying that they saw this this TikTok post that was telling them that they needed to write down everything they needed from a partnership. And after they saw that, they went and wrote down everything they needed. They made this list, and this was last year. And then she was talking to her friend about a situationship that she's currently in, and she was saying that everything on her list was met by this person, and she was so confused about how everything on the list was met, and she had written it all down. And her friend asked her, did you write down on your list that you wanted somebody who was ready to commit, like make a serious commitment? And the girl said, no, I didn't. Because at the time that I made my list, I was terrified of relationships, and I wasn't even sure that's what I wanted. So I didn't put that down. So she went back and revised her list now. And she was like, the thing about manifestation is that you manifest exactly what you're thinking about. And so if you've had to let that, in her case, that situationship go because it turns out that it didn't meet her needs, it was a relationship that showed her one of the needs that she does want to have met, because it showed her that when the right person comes along, she does want to have that commitment. So now she's going to revise her list, and I guarantee you that the person who does want to have commitment will come in now. And that's where you're at. If something has died, you need to revise your list, and you're sort of in the energy of figuring out what should go on that list. This is the energy of envisioning your life. The final outcome, I love. It's another ace of, in this case, it's the Ace of Cups, but that's two aces, which is so much about new, fresh. And of course, the Ace of Cups is all about how we find all these ways to shower love upon ourselves. We feel the love coming from all around us. It doesn't have to come from one single source. It's outside of our connection with our higher self or with the divine, or however you want to define that. And so after this grieving process is over, after you've revised your list, you're seeing this offer of love, new and fresh, coming in for you. Now, this is crazy because I pulled the new life card for you as your oracle. And you're also getting this pig spirit card, which we're going to read first. First of all, I love piggoos. They're so cute. And we're going to read the protection message. This is number 47. It says, use your mind wisely. It says, are you ruminating, turning thoughts around and around in your head, but not getting nearer to a decision or solution? Pig spirit is here to protect you from analysis paralysis. Let your mind rest now and allow your intelligence to mingle with the mysteries of intuitive guidance, releasing your tight hold on facts and unsolved puzzles, whether it be a relationship or any other aspects of your life. Unsolved puzzles, kind of, that was reminding me of that fern. In fact, now might be a good time to think about something else altogether and release your grip on needing to know. When your thought processes are muddied by fear and anxiety, allow pig spirit to lead you back to the right use of your natural intelligence. Take a break, that Four of Cups. Relax and release the ball of worry. More facts may be needed, more digging for information, and more questioning. When seeking to learn more, enjoy the process of using your thinking prowess. All the elements of your intelligence are reliably guiding you now once you've given your mind a rest. Now, I see this card a lot, and I don't always think about the movie Babe, but I'm thinking of Babe, and I'm thinking of how his job is to herd those sheep, that he has to like get all of the sheep herded in that movie. Oh my God, it's such a cute story. If you haven't seen it in a long time, maybe you should watch it. I don't know. There might be something there for you. First of all, it's fucking so cute anyway, so it might just be really fun to watch. But that idea of all of those disparate thoughts, like think of them as the sheep, and just picture Babe, who's so goddamn cute, herding all of those thoughts and guiding you in the right direction, and just releasing your need to control all of those thoughts, right? Like Babe's got it for you. So cute. Have you seen that in years? Oh my God, I haven't seen that in so long. And now let me just give you this new life card, which is really, it even has some of the energy in it of this Ace of Cups for me, like the body language of the feminine that's on both cards. It's number 39. The birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. When spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is a time of good fortune. New energy enters old relationships, and new relationships are bursting with the sweetness and vibrancy only encountered when winter gives way to spring. This is a time to connect with others and share excitement, passion, and hearts full of joy. This card is a very auspicious sign with respect to love and partnership in all forms. You have every reason to be optimistic right now as things seem to fall into place magically. New opportunities remind you that abundance is available to you. Delight in the bounty that begins to appear in surprising forms. Stay curious and know that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. It's as if new life suddenly infuses your projects, work, and creative ideas with a kind of electricity that crackles with exciting potential. Fortune is smiling on you. Good reading. That was a beautiful reading. Thank you so much for purchasing that reading tonight too. I do appreciate it. You just paid for about half a tank of gas for me, so thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do it without y'all, for sure. I've been applying for jobs. Do you all know about Chat GPT? I feel like I should gatekeep this for a little longer, but I won't. If you have not heard of this software, it got, I think, 1 million followers in 5 days, which it took Netflix like 7 years to get 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers. It's a free software. You can just Google Chat GPT. And it's an AI that has been loaded with every single print resource available in the cloud. So it has access to almost all knowledge, pretty much, and it's adaptable. It can learn new things from talking to you. It claims it doesn't have any feelings or consciousness or anything like that. It is literally just programmed, but it is intelligent, and it can answer questions very, very accurately and very quickly. And so, for the record, I asked this software, I'm going to tell you how I've been using it for my job search in a second. But before I get there, I just want to say this because I did this today. I was like, if this software has every text that has ever been written that's in the cloud, it can access any knowledge. It's almost like, the analytical version of an oracle. And so I said, can you tell me the first incidence of the term twin flame, like the original source text for this word? And it responded, there isn't one. So anybody who you've ever seen claiming that this is an ancient term, that is a false claim. There has never been a single mention of that word in any ancient texts that have ever been written. So it doesn't come from there. Where it does come from is Elizabeth Clare Prophet's 1970s books, where she coined the term and made up every single thing that is considered a fact about the twin flame dynamic. She had a cult, and you can also read books about the people who were in her cult. So I do think you can receive channeled messages and inspiring messages, but if they have a hint of ego-based elements, which the twin flame messaging really is rife with, it is unlikely that they are truly divinely inspired. So take a good hard look at all the people out there that are giving you a bunch of facts about twin flame. I just saw someone today who's claiming that Jesus told her about every single wave of twin flames, beginning with the first wave, which she claimed was in 1999. So you're telling me that the Ascended Master, first of all, gives a shit about twin flames. That's highly unlikely in my book. But second of all, starts the twin flame journey in 1999? There was no other waves of twin flames prior to that date? That makes no sense. Use your mind, people, when you get these, when you're watching these readings from people. Not that that person is malicious or anything. I'm sure she receives inspiration. But you do know, especially if you're a witch, if you work with energy, you know, see my lights there? Okay. Something turns my lights on and off, switches settings, does mischievous things. Little mischievous things. I don't feel that it's a negative energy. I feel that it's a playful one. But I do feel that when you're channeling energy and you're open to receiving messages, if those messages have a funny smell about them, it's probably a mischievous energy. They might not have ill intent. I really don't even think like evil and entities exist. I just think detached and energies exist that really, they don't care. Angels are detached. Angels don't care about you. They don't, I have never felt that the Archangel Raphael is shedding a single tear for the experiences that I'm having. I'm pretty sure the Archangel Raphael is just like, I gave you your mission, go do it. And I don't want to hear you complaining because I don't care about human things. Like that's, so just be careful out there. But you can go and talk to ChatGPT. You can ask them about all of the source text. You can ask them about the origins. It does say that the idea of the divine feminine and masculine goes all the way back to Egyptian and Hindu beliefs. But nowhere are there any stories, anything like what Elizabeth Clare Prophet brought to the world. And all of those stories have been now filtered through the internet, and they're highly inaccurate, just so you know. And as a Leo, you know I like to be right about everything, so I probably am. There's my ego. But the reason I brought it up is because this is crazy. You can take a job description and your resume or a list of jobs that you had, and you can say, hi, ChatGPT, would you please modify my resume to reflect this job description? And it will change your resume for you. And then you can say, hi, can you take this job description and this resume that you just made for me and make me a cover letter? And it does it in under 3 seconds. It just goes, choo, 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 choo. Is there anything else I can help you with? There are so many things. It does legal documentation. So if, let's say you're having a dispute with your landlord and you're like, can you please write me a legal document citing the local, like whatever you call those, I can't think of the name. You have to know what to ask it for, but what are those called? I don't know. Statutes or whatever that would support my argument with my landlord, and it will do what you would have to pay a lawyer to do. And it will give you an accurate legal document with citations. Send that to your landlord and see what happens. Yeah, this cover letter thing changed my life, because one of the things I always do is I'm like, oh, I should apply for this job. And I never do because I have to go fix a cover letter, and I cannot do it. My executive functioning disorder will not allow it. So I applied for like 10 jobs in one day last week, and it was primarily because it just kept writing cover letters for me. Okay, let's do Sophia's reading here. We have Sophia's reading we have to get to. And I think you said you wanted a general... Where's yours? Let the spirit guide whatever you pull for me. Okay. And you did send an $11 donation, so I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 cards for you instead of just the 2. And then we'll do an oracle for you. And if anyone else wants a reading, you can either let me know your question. If you're a subscriber with a prayer badge, you can let me know your question in the comments. If you would like to subscribe in order to receive a reading, just click follow and then hit subscribe there at the top. And alternatively, you can send $33 for a deeper reading, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. at the link in my profile. If you want a private reading, there is an option now. For those of you that did not hear the announcement, my page has completely changed. So when you go there now, you have to scroll down to see the tarot reading, and there's only one option. There used to be multiple price points, and there's just one price point now. So that is how we roll. If you want $33 readings, the only way you can get those now is live, unless we have an agreement already because there was a couple people that asked me for readings before that happened, the transition happened. Okay, so the first card that came out for you is thank you so much, Christine. Thank you, I appreciate you being here. Oh, Alifer, you had the general one. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought when I saw Sophia say it's me, I thought that was the account. So I'm doing a different reading. I'll do it Sophia's after. I apologize. So this is Alifer's reading. For the maker. Okay, that's what couldn't remember what your handle was. So you got the 7 of Cups, and this is the energy where you have been, which is maybe trying to get clarity to make a choice about something, or looking at all of your options, looking at all of the different opportunities that you have there. And there might be a sense of needing help to make the decision, like kind of praying for clarity about it, asking for assistance in making the right choice, something about that coming up. In your current energy, we have the World card, which is showing me that there has been a completion in some way, a cycle that has ended. So maybe a time of being indecisive is coming to an end, or feeling like you don't know which direction to go or how to choose something, that has ended. And there is a feeling of like something being done and complete now. Like now you do know where to go. And all of the pieces maybe are kind of coming together in this present moment. If you didn't quite understand before, if you couldn't see clearly why everything was the way it was, like in this current energy, you either do now or are, going to very soon understand that everything happened in order for you to achieve what it is you are desiring, to like create the world that you want. The outcome cards I'm getting for you, the 3 of Pentacles, and it came out with the 8 of Wands stuck to it. So the 3 of Pentacles is about building a sanctuary, teamwork, partnership, the reality of things, the 3D of things. And then we have the 8 of Wands, which is a card about communication, fast moving energy, rushing. There's a feminine here. So when I see a feminine in an 8 of Wands, it makes me feel like emotional communication. And so you could be working on building a safe space for you to be able to communicate or express your feelings. Or someone else is trying to work with you to be able to tell you how they feel. But there is definitely an approach that involves partnership or working together. It's not something that you're necessarily just doing by yourself. So ultimately, that's where you're heading. Building something with someone, expressing what it is, how you feel about the process. This could even suggest like you're building a business that involves all of that. There you go. The other thing I was going to say is this, I could even see if this wasn't a reading about a relationship, it could even talk about couples therapy or being willing to work with someone to learn how to communicate properly. I don't know if that's part of the business model, but it does look like there's going to be fast movement and stability coming from this business, if that is indeed what that 3 of Pentacles is about. The oracle that came up for you is number 21, and it is clean it up. So this can be about kind of cleaning up the way we think about something. It can be literally about clutter, when sometimes our space starts to reflect like our mind. And like right now my desk is incredibly cluttered. I got my new chair and I was like, yay! And then I look at my desk and I'm like, ugh. Because like my desk has all the card decks. It's got open card decks. I don't know why, but I have this bottle of water that's not finished, and this bottle of water that's not finished, and my coffee from earlier that's not finished. Like, I can't. And then it's a thing. Okay, so getting to the core of a situation. Freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. I'm going with quick communication for sure. Okay, let me see. The person I've asked about for the past year and change reached out this week. Quick communication for sure. I'm going with a specific cycle too. I'm giving myself the things that I want. It's been great. That's really good. That's really good. I'm proud of you for doing that. And that's awesome that that person reached out. Ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home also? Too much work? Overwhelmed? Time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. The relationship messages, time to clear the air, take a look at your side of the street and say what's on your mind. Sweep away the old stuff so that a spring breeze can flow through with new energy. It's the perfect time to do an inventory of your dynamics and see what's yours and what's not yours to clean up the relationship. Everyone brings some baggage. Sort through what you brought with you and let go of what is no longer needed. Become unencumbered and your relationship will flourish. Your prosperity message is simple things like opening your mail, paying bills, sorting out your timetable, making lists, and getting organized is what this symbol means when it comes to your work. Make time for yourself too, which is what you said you've been working on. This card is a sign you may be overburdened and overwhelmed. It's okay to say no. You'll prosper even more if you do. You spent the day going through your closets. I love that. Okay, well, that was an accurate reading for you then. Thank you for donating. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else here who is who wants their 2-card reading? Any subscribers who want a 2-card reading? Anyone who wants to subscribe for $5.99 so that they can get 2-card reading today and anytime I go live, which I promise will be a lot more frequently than it was this past week. I just gave myself a much needed break. Yes, Sophia, that's right. You have to get your reading. I tried to give you a deeper reading. Sorry about that. I got confused when you said it's me. And then also, if you want a deeper reading, you can pay $33 at the link in my profile, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. Okay, let's do Sophia and then Nicole, and then we've got Amanda. Okay, I'm feeling to change my deck. All right, so Sophia, you just wanted a general message. I'm pulling 1 tarot card and 1 oracle for my subscribers today. Okay. We've got the Ace of Swords, which is like a moment of truth, sometimes painful. It's about being able to see something clearly. I'm really noticing the clouds in this image, so it's definitely like embracing the truth, seeing very clearly what was maybe difficult to see before, and transformation coming in with butterfly energy. Unusual for swords, for Ace of Swords, but because this is an air energy, it may be referencing that. But the transformation is significant for me because the oracle that came up for you is time to let go. So there may be this call for radical acceptance of letting go of something that you maybe have been holding on to. Number 45. And when you face the truth about it, when you look at this thing with clarity, you can see that you're holding on to something that is keeping you from moving forward. Think about it just logically. If you're holding on to something, you have, let's say that thing is a burden or a weight. in order to move forward, you have to carry it with you, which requires a lot of stamina, a lot of strength, a lot of energy. I have like fuzz on my hair. And 45. If it's attached to something that won't budge, that means that you can't move forward. So when you're holding on to something that won't budge, you're stuck in place. And that's an important message. Let's see. Endings, completion, walking away from something because there is nothing else to learn or experience. That makes a lot of sense too, because this is a card about learning new things. And if you're kind of having the same lessons happen to you again and again, you are not learning anything new. And if you don't learn anything new, then it is difficult for you to act differently in the future. You are at the end of your one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. So that's really important. It's over. This can be, in terms of relationship, it can be it's over, or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost, although this card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract. It is more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. The prosperity message is, this message is clear, which is striking to me because of the Ace of Swords being about clarity. The path you've been on with your work, creative projects, and business alliances have come to an end. You will not find the success you desire by continuing with what is now in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there is no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. It is time to walk towards something new. This card also pertains to the more neutral concept of completion. You've finished your tasks and can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than any you can imagine. You have done all you can. Now trust that Spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life, and remember that when you close one door, another opens. Yes, it can be the end of a soul contract, it did say in that book. And the end of a soul contract can be incredibly liberating. Remember that those soul contracts come from agreements we made to help people learn. And when a soul contract ends, it means the lessons were learned, and now you're free. And that's a beautiful energy. In the past 40 hours, I finally felt disconnected from the pain of, wow, that's really powerful. I'm happy to hear that you're feeling that pain is no longer a part of your experience, because that's a good place to be. All right, let me do Nicole's reading. Did you just want a general energy today, or do you have an actual question? And Amanda, if you have a question, make sure you put it in the comments here for me so I can answer it. Good luck to you. I know it's going to go well. And isn't it interesting that my channel is shifting from focusing on the masculine energy to one that's, or to focusing on your person, to one that's more about focusing on your interests and your passion and the direction that you're going to go in your life, because that's kind of where you're at now that you've embraced the ending of this. What are you chewing on over there? You've been very busy. Is it something you're allowed to chew on? Okay, good. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, you're so cute. In another live, you said DM hides who he really is. Is it possible to know who he really is? Okay, let's see. It's so funny because your first card came out before your question was on the screen. Okay, first up is the King of Pentacles. I think that's so interesting because the King of Pentacles is all about the way you present yourself to others, the way that you show up to others. It's about reputation. It's about it can be about your ego and how you're perceived. It can be about feeling worthy and having feelings of worthiness. But in regards to this question, is it possible to know who he really is? I'm going to say it's pretty difficult because I don't even know if he knows who he is. And I think he is presenting a front. Like he is kind of living an image and maybe even identifying with that. You know how like I used to really identify with being a stoner. And in the last few months, I've been kind of indifferent about smoking, which there's a part of me that is like, but that's a part of who you are. But it's just an external thing that I do. I'm not what I do. Like that's not, I'm a sum of a lot of different parts. So I think that right now, what we're limited to seeing is what he presents himself to the world to be. And the problem with that is that he may not even be aware of who he is. Until you really kind of understand who your authentic self is, you don't present authentically to others, right? And what's coming up with that card is chaos and conflict, number 33. And so without even looking at this, I can say that I do think that he's pretty conflicted about who he really is. And probably doesn't have a lot of his thoughts kind of organized about it. So if he doesn't know, then it's really difficult for us to know. Disarray, being at cross purposes with another, the tension of opposites, the value of chaos before order. Opposing forces come together to create a turbulent atmosphere, but consider the value of chaos that serves you well as you become unmoored by it. Scattered to the winds, you leave behind the parts of yourself you no longer need and disperse seeds to reinvent yourself anew. See, as he starts to reinvent himself, it's going to become clear to you the parts of himself that were hidden. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, its essence is internal, projected outward and causing disarray. You may find yourself at cross purposes with someone else, facing a storm you feel you can't control. Yet every storm passes and chaos leads to a reordering of things. Conflict provides a way to see more than one side of a situation. Look upon this as just a moment in time when you may need to take shelter and step away from the fray. Don't be too eager to fight. This is a time to understand rather than to be understood. Okay, so it's just a really clear message of what you see right now is what you get, but what you're getting is a lot of this disorder. As he starts to sift through and figure out who he is, it will become very clear to you the parts that are hidden. And one of the cards that I keep reading, or that keeps coming out for me from this deck, is called the Thinker, and something on it just jumped to my mind. It says, should others tell me who they are, take them at their word. So whoever he is showing you right now, take that at face value. And if that is not like, in alignment with somebody that you would want to be in a relationship with, take that at face value right now. Because it doesn't matter who's hidden within if he never brings it without. Like if he never actually externalizes his true authentic self. So, good question. Interesting response from the tarot. All right. And my final person here that wanted a reading was Amanda. And did you have a question, Amanda? I have a card for you. It was cool. That was a cool reading. Also, the replay of this is going to be on YouTube, by the way. So if you end up wanting to go and see your reading again, it'll be on YouTube later tonight. The one I did yesterday is there too. So I try to put the replays up so that you can go back and watch them. Sometimes you miss things or you forget what I said, and it's there for you if you need it. This one was a long one, so it'll probably take a little while to upload. It might not be ready until late tonight. Amanda, you still here with me, babes? Do you have a specific question? I don't want to read for you if you're not here. Oh, I see you there. For some reason, the comment's not showing, though. Oh, this energy just came up for the collective recently. You're here. Do you have a specific question, babe? It's funny. A bunch of people have been messaging me during this live. Like 3 of my friends and a couple of followers, and every one of them has said, I've just had a major breakthrough. That's so funny. What's up with my love life? Okay, so the first card that came up for me is really interesting with the second card. So like just the colors and stuff. But the first card that came up was the Magician. And in this card, I noticed a long time ago that there is this face that's kind of faded over here. Do you see that? It's kind of creepy, actually. And then we have the Magician energy here. So we have a masculine Magician, and not every one of my decks has a masculine. So I think it's significant that we have a masculine energy. And I feel like there is, the masculine energy, of course, doesn't necessarily have to be a person, but it can be the part of us that wants to take action or do something. And so I feel like there is this feeling that you want to kind of take things into your own hands, take action, make this like love life happen. Like there's a desire to make it magical, to create something that's really in alignment with you. And what's really, really interesting is that it came up with the Yin card, which is actually the divine feminine energy. This was in the reading that I just did for the collective yesterday, I believe. And I ended up reading the whole card to the collective because after I pulled all the cards for it, it was so much in alignment with the cards I had pulled. And I'm really noticing that the feminine energy here is all behind the masculine. It's like all around this masculine energy. So what I'm seeing is there might be this feeling to try to make something happen or create movement or create motion. And the Yin card is all about receiving, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information about it and taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. So there is a difference between manifestation, which is to make new, and alignment, which for me is conscious allowing. Conscious allowing is recognizing that we have already taken the action required to create the thing we desire, and we allow that thing to now come forward. If you're constantly checking, like I'm not into baking, I'm a master cook and like a home ec grade 7 baker for the most part. And one of the issues I have with baking is I am very patient up to a point, and then I'm impatient. I'm also a little bit too scattered. If you put things out of order when you're cooking, you can fix it. If you do that when you're baking, it's kind of ruined. And if you put something in the oven and then you keep opening the oven to check and see if it's done, you ruin whatever is baking. Like, it needs, the heat has to stay at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time to get the correct consistency so that it will be baked properly. And I have a sense that when we are not conscious, when we're not in an energy of conscious allowing, that we are taking action to constantly check and see if our manifestation is done. Is it done yet? Oh, it's not done. Is it done yet? Oh, it's not done. Is it done yet? No, it's not done. And what ends up happening is we have to bake the cake again. Like, we have to do it all over again. And we have to surrender that need to control or manipulate the making of the cake. Okay? So you're being called on right now to gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. It does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you will see how quickly your dreams manifest. Let others take the lead right now. Your power lies in small gestures, soft awareness, and conscious surrender. By yielding the reins, you will find yourself effortlessly moving closer to what you truly desire. Permit others to tell you who they are and who they can be to you. By allowing their actions to speak about them, you will be pleasantly surprised. So that is a really concise message, I think, for those cards. Oh, you're not good at all at that. Okay, so change your mindset about that. In the past, it was difficult for you to allow things consciously, most likely because you had a fear that you couldn't trust things to unfold. And that usually comes when our childhoods required that we had to parent ourselves or our parents, and we couldn't really trust that our needs would be met. So we had to make sure we were doing overtime to get those needs met. So one of the best things that I could suggest doing is some inner child parenting, where you imagine yourself in scenarios from your childhood with really responsive, supportive parents. I call them my spirit parents, right? Like my spirit mother and my spirit father. And it might not look like your parents from your real life. It could look like, you know, mine. I have the young Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep thing is what mine are. And just picture them meeting your needs when you need them, responsive, just giving you a lot of emotional security, and a feeling that you don't have to try to control the situation because you're safe. Repeating, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, I'm so safe, I'm always safe. You can't say that too many times. You can't. You can insert it into every conversation you have with people. Just be like, it's okay because I'm safe. I'm always safe. You know, if people are like, why are you always saying that? Be like, because it's true. I am always safe. I just realized it recently that I'm always safe. Like, think about all the times you say all the things that you don't want to be true, and say what you do want to be true, or a feeling that you do want to have, just as often as you possibly can. Because safety and security is something that allows us to feel that we don't have to control situations, because we know that we're going to be safe. We trust that we're going to be safe no matter what happens. So try that. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me today. I'm going to pull one last closing card for the collective energy. I will be back on Saturday with the extended Tell Me Everything spread, which will be the last one for a little while. That extended version, if you can't attend on Saturday, will be available to members of my website. To become a member, click the link in my profile. There is a button for that. And let's pull the final piece of advice for the masculine and feminine energy. What is the final advice that will help us the most right now in our current energy? What do we need to know? What will make us feel safe? What will make us feel, have faith or trust? Aha! The new life card. Rest assured that what is going to happen ever after this moment is going to be new. It's not going to be a repetition of what has happened in the past. There's no space or room for that left in this connection. You've done too much work. You've done too much transformation. You've done too much healing for you to repeat the mistakes from the past. So don't be afraid that that's going to happen anymore. It's not. And embrace that there may be a new energy coming in, either from your person or from someone else, that is more in alignment with what you've actually been what am I trying to say? Attracting. And yeah, new life again. So absolutely. What time on Saturday? Good question. I've been having a lot of success with coming on around between like 4 and 5 p.m. So I'll probably appear around that time. Usually what I do is I check my analytics from last week just to see like when were most of my followers active, and it tends to be between 4 and like 9 p.m. So I would guess around that time. I used to do 11 a.m. I'll probably post the actual beginnings of the Tell Me Everything spreads around 11, but I will probably do the actual extended ones later, maybe. I'm not sure. But I will try to let you know on Saturday. Like when I post, I'll say what time I plan to go live so you know when it'll be. But I'm guessing probably later in the evening because I have some stuff to do on Saturday that I absolutely have to finish. Speaking of which, if you are wanting to come to the January 7th event, I highly recommend purchasing your ticket by Saturday, because there is a packet, a welcome packet that you will receive that has the menu, it has the supplies you need to purchase the items if you need to. You might not need to, they might already be around your house, but you can just make sure you have them before the event. You can choose what menu you're going to use so you know what you're going to do that day. It has a video that's going to guide you on how to prepare your space for the event. There is the full schedule, which you can actually see on the website. If you want to, you can already go ahead and look at that full schedule online. There is a PDF of the book, Creative Visualization, so you don't have to buy the book. But if you do want to buy the book, you might want to purchase it soon in order to get it before the event. But there is a PDF, so you can just look through the PDF. It is not a long or complicated book. But there is a point where we will do a book discussion for those of you who are interested. So I would definitely book by Saturday to make sure you can have time to look through the material. There's also journal questions. You can decide that you want to do the journal questions on that day, or you can answer the journal questions in advance so that that day you can be more open to like visualizing and meditation. You don't have to do as much writing. It's really up to you on how you want to enjoy that day. Remember, it's supposed to be a retreat. You're supposed to feel like a combination of relaxation, revelation, and inspiration. So I like anything you can do to prepare yourself for that and make sure you have the time and the space at home. And this is a day where I strongly encourage you, especially if you're a mom or if you have fur babies too, I strongly encourage you to see if you can have someone else take on your responsibilities for that day. And I know it's not easy for people like us to ask for help, but you deserve to have at least 12-hour period, if not the full 24 hours, where you can just have, your own time and space to focus on relaxation and reflection. So consider strongly getting a babysitter or asking your partner, if you have one, to help, or a family member, or just something so that you can have your own time and space to yourself that day. It's a really important part of the event. And I think it's something that you should consider doing frequently, not just once a year. So consider that when you sign up for the event. But this is really meant for you to have a retreat from your responsibilities for 12 hours. Yes, a spa day in the middle of a circus. But just, I'm sure there's a friend somewhere, if you can say, I really want to do this, if there's any way that you could step in and help out with the household that day, be the person who, takes care of the animals or helps with the kids or whatever it is, consider doing it for yourself, because it's super worth it. If the price is overwhelming for you, but you really, really want to do this journey, please just send me a message. Either schedule a free consultation this week so we can talk about it, because maybe we can do a payment plan, or maybe we can lower the price to what really makes sense for you. I want you to be able to participate. So I want everybody to be able to participate who can. The reason I priced it at that level is because that's what I charge for an hour, and you're going to get to be with me from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. So I felt like that was a fair price for that much time and attention and effort on my part. So, but again, I don't want it to be something that keeps you from participating that day, because it's really going to be helpful, and you can pay it forward in some way if we have to work out the price. I don't want to not do the event because the price seems too expensive for people. So keep that in mind. And thank you for saying you can't wait to hear my new album. It's my EP should be coming out soon. We just finished going over the mixes. We probably have one more round of tweaking, and then it will go to mastering. And then once it's mastered, I will release it. Tomorrow, my single "It's Me, Babe" will be released again. I did another release through Sound On. Ooh, I just got vertigo. Weird. I did the first release through DistroKid, and then TikTok told me that my account was chosen to showcase my music. So it's actually going to be released again tomorrow. So I don't know if it's going to appear in my profile or what, but it's my EP will appear in my profile, so you'll be able to see that just right here on the page. But if you're interested in hearing my music, you can always go to my website, link in my profile. Yeah, that was weird. I just had like a moment of vertigo. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jindy. Well, the good news is the entire thing is going to be available after we're done. I'm going to record all of the sessions from that day, and it will be released after at a reduced rate, so that you could go ahead and follow the whole retreat on your own schedule that works for you, and still see the readings and the discussions and everything. So I feel like it's supercharged when there's a bunch of people working on it all at the same time. But at the same time, the actual event is crafted in such a way that you could do it on your own. That's the whole purpose of it. So it'll still be available for you to benefit from after. So, your time and money is short. I hear that. All right. Thank you so much for being generous with me and for spending all this time with me. And I will see you. Wow, 10K likes. Thank you so much, everybody. There weren't that many people in here. Y'all must have tired thumbs right now. I will see you all on Saturday. Wish me luck on my journey tomorrow. And again, if you want to book a private reading, click the link in my profile and scroll down. You'll see the tarot reading is at the bottom of the page. There's also music production, piano, and voice lessons there that are going to appear before, but right at the bottom you'll see tarot reading. So, all right, everybody, take care. Have the best evening. Thanks again. Bye, Amanda. Thank you for the roses. Mwah. All right, everybody. See you later.